The year is 2021, and you're going to think that essentially the Karen freakout is going to be done, but we are still having videos surface where the great American Karen haircut appears, the outrage is better than ever, and them being wrong is all three factors that need to be hit to ensure that this video is going to be a viral sensation. Now, let's play it right here, as it looks like a U.S. Navy sailor out of Groton, Connecticut is being berated by this Karen and told he is wearing a fake uniform. Watch it right here.
Disgusting fucking piece of shit.
Ma'am, you're on camera. I would leave now before I call the police.
Yeah.
I will call the police if you don't leave. No, you are not permitted to grab my phone. You're not permitted to grab his hat.
Yeah.
I don't know where this behavior is coming from.
And
Just
guess
let him
what?
be. Just let
Show
him be.
his uniform. Show his uniform.
Let him be.
Show his uniform. You disgrace the U.S. You disgrace the USA. You put me on it. You put me on it. You put me on the freaking. Put me on. Put me on.
Hey Williams, can you,
Put me on.
Can you give me Chief's number?
What's Chief?
Chief
That's not a
Chief
uniform. You piece of.
Chief Powers.
This is going to be my final calling of, if you are not subscribed from the YouTube algorithm, whatever, unsubscribing you, please feel free to double check that subscribe button. Make sure that you're still tuned in, because there were a lot of people that were disconnected on their subscribe buttons here. So please just double check. If you're watching this and you've enjoyed it, hopefully I've earned your sub today. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Let's get back to the video. You gotta love it when you have a Karen that has the exact haircut. It's almost like she prepared for the role before the role even came to her. And she said, "You put me on. You put me on." And that means she was on scene, on action. The world is her stage, and this is where she performs best. I do like that this junior guy is wise enough to shut up, call Chief if anything, and say, this might become an issue, because we all know the sailor can't fight back, even though he's been physically hit by this woman and would have total right in any other situation or circumstance. But for some reason, someone's in uniform, bam, they are immediately sought as, you need to take the high road there, Johnny, which is very frustrating, because this lady is still on the loose. She is still anonymous. No one knows who she is right now. And there is more context to this, as it looks like the sailor has talked about this across Facebook. Video posts and comments. Tonight has been eventful, to say the least. I went to get a bite to eat off base at a local pizza spot. As my friend is standing talking to her family, who currently owns this pizza spot, a woman walks in and is constantly staring back at me. As I am in uniform, I politely smile back. The woman proceeds to walk in and out multiple times over the course of 10 minutes. Her food is ready, and she walks back in to retrieve her pizza. As she leaves, she looks at me and says, "Nice smile." Very sarcastically, I reply, "Thank you, have a nice day, ma'am," and continue about my day. Not even 30 seconds later, she comes marching back in and yells at the pizzeria staff, "He is a fake, by the way. My husband is in the Army." You can probably assume the rest. I proceed to attempt to prove that I am not a fake. Even pulled out my valid military ID and showed it to her. She kept claiming that my military ID is fake and proceeds to show me her dependent military ID and screams, "This is what your ID should look like." As I realized there was no persuading this woman that I am not a fake, I politely say, "Tell your husband thank you for his service for me and have a nice day." She storms out of the pizzeria and storms right back in, progressively screaming at me, "You disgust me, you son of a bee," grabbing my uniform and throwing my cover on the ground. Not aware that I am a real service member, in last-ditch effort to leave, she rushes towards me and slaps me in the left side of my face. In uniform, I must maintain professionalism, so I stand there and proceed to wish her a nice day. Well, looks like some of our own people can't recognize authenticity when they see it. From this statement, there are two things that I want to take from this. One, she must not really be married to someone that's active duty to not know what a common access cat card looks like. On top of that, she would know that her husband's ID would be different than her dependent ID. Now, I will give some credit here and say that dependent IDs have changed to this horizontal look recently, but still, it's not confused for the vertical cat card that is very commonly known for active duty members, contractors, etc. You don't have to show your ID to anybody. Nobody besides getting access to a government computer or showing somebody at the gate to gain access to a military installation is that required. What is this? We're dealing with bartenders only a couple months ago. If you haven't seen that video, it's my most viewed video actually on this channel of a bartender that folds and crumples up a fake military ID that he says is fake. And so it looks like this is just something do we need to continuously educate on to local people to understand? Now let's also dissect this part of where the context of where this location is at. It looks like this takes place over in Groton, Connecticut, which is very known for their A school population, which is a submarine base over there, where people learn about being on submarines and the basic day in, day out life before they could be stationed other places. I'm not sure if this sailor is in A school or in a official sailor status at his first command, but him saying he showed his ID, etc., and him being uniformed does link to that idea that he could still be a student and very fresh into the Navy and fresh out of boot camp. Say there were a lot of Marines that were confused by this. If you don't know or you've never been around Marines, the woodland uniform, the Mar pants that they wear all the time, are not allowed to be worn at off-base installations except for true emergency, like I'm talking about your car broke down type situations, or if you are driving through a drive-through, you're not allowed to get out of the vehicle. The Navy had similar rules, but those have changed over the years, and it's surprising how many people have said, this sailor was in the wrong because he was in uniform. No, he's not. If you read the naval regulations for wearing of the Navy working uniform, type 3, it says this verbatim. NWU wear is authorized for commuting and all normal tasks and associated stops. Example is stop at childcare, gas stations, off-base shopping, banking, DMV, and dining before, during, and after the workday. This sailor was taking what looks like food to go from a dining establishment after work. And so when I look at this, I'm like, okay, that makes sense that he was allowed to do this. He was not in the wrong. And to give this woman credit, the U.S. Navy has changed how many uniforms in the past 10 plus years? Granted, it is confusing because they're near Groton, Connecticut, which her husband's army, that's confusing. I'm not sure if there's any army bases out there. You would think she would understand that. And if she had a true fuming passion to know what is right or wrong and die on this hill, she could have just Googled it and been like, U.S. Navy camo uniform. I will show you on Google right now. It takes not even 10 seconds to find out this is a real U.S. Navy uniform. But I'm also like, it's crazy that somebody would go to these lengths to think they could physically lay their hands on another human being for a uniform, even if they were fake. Call the cops or something. I don't know. That's not going to change anything. And I will say, if you know anything about this woman, what her name is, where she's from or whatever, please report it to authorities in the Groton, Connecticut area, because it does look like they are still trying to bring her up on charges for this. Hopefully this gets resolved and this woman learns very well, A, not to lay your hands on a single person, and B, know about military ID cards, and C, know about actual uniforms that are worn by every service if you claim to be the subject matter expert on this. But I leave this question to you guys. What do you think should happen to this Karen if she does get found or people are able to locate her? I would very much like to know your guys' opinions down in the comments below. If you guys like what we do here, you can always support over at patreon.com for special perks and benefits, including weekly video votes, and on top of that, shout outs and other perks and benefits over there. Also, there are emojis and other things from the live streams that you can come to every Friday, 7 p.m. California time if you join the membership button down below to help be part of the community and the squad that we have out here. But as always, if you guys have questions about this or anything else, you can always hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.